Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah. I am starting a series on the menstrual cycle. I will be doing videos day by day of what you experience, your hormonal fluctuations, and how they affect your work, your relationships, your mood, your energy, your workouts, the food you eat, all of it. So I'm super excited for this series. It's gonna be great. Don't forget to hit the big subscribe button and tap that little notification bell to get notified so that you don't miss any of these videos, because when I learned this information, it truly changed the way I related to my hormones and cycle, and really is just so powerful when you can lean into that instead of fight against it. So I'm super excited to talk about these things with you. So I will be doing day by day what it's like day by day through your cycle. Obviously, we all have different length cycles, and once we get towards the end, I'll explain that. So yeah, anyway, let's get started. Week 1, your first day of your menstrual cycle is the first day that you see blood. Doesn't matter how heavy or light it is, that is considered the first day of menstruation. And this first day is when your cycle starts, and it lasts for 7 days, no matter how long you typically bleed. Your first week of your cycle is considered 7 days. So I'm going to just refer to my notes here. So when our cycle starts, this is when estrogen is at its lowest point in our cycle. Generally speaking, this is when estrogen is lowest, is when you hit rock bottom with your mood, with your energy, and everything is at the lowest end of their spectrums. Some health conditions such as asthma, irritable bowel syndrome, and migraines have a higher risk of flaring up at this time of your cycle. When it comes to your mood, you're at the very low side of your emotional scale, and you may feel subdued, you might feel blue, maybe irritable at times. However, a lot of things that we hear on the internet, TV, etc., is like the menstrual week, it's awful, it's the worst week. But the first day that you actually menstruate is when your estrogen starts to climb. Now, that first day, you may or may not feel awesome, because each woman has her own sensitivity to estrogen. And some of us, if we're very sensitive to estrogen, the first day we start to menstruate, we feel like relief and just awesome, and those feel-good hormones start to rise again. For other women, it could take several days to kick in till we start to feel good after menstruation. But anyway, all that being said, you should look forward to your period coming, because that means you're about to feel better, you're about to have those PMS symptoms leave, and life is looking bright again. So why we have PMS is because estrogen plunges right before our period. And these hormones, it's a lot like how caffeine works. If you have caffeine, you feel good, you feel that caffeine working, you feel the energy, you feel vibrant. And if you stop drinking caffeine, you have withdrawal symptoms. And you have those symptoms you're experiencing, but if you drink a cup of coffee again, those withdrawal symptoms, they go away. And the same thing happens in our body with estrogen. Our estrogen drops our premenstrual week, and once we start to menstruate and it starts to rise again, our PMS symptoms quickly go away because that hormone is back. So we have estrogen, it drops, we have our PMS week, and then once it starts to rise again, we start feeling better. So estrogen improves our mood, our optimism, our desire to socialize, our confidence, yay, motivation, resilience, and overall positivity. This is like the best. That's the best. We all love that. Things to keep in mind: if you're still feeling grumpy during your period, we lose iron when we bleed. So if you are not keeping up your iron levels all month long, this can really leave us feeling fatigued, grumpy, or irritable during our period, because our iron, which is a vital mineral, it drops. So if you're feeling irritable, you could be low in iron. You may want to keep that in mind and supplement or eat iron-containing foods. Another thing is a lot of women experience pain or symptoms during your period, maybe cramps or headaches, whatever. Don't just deal with the pain, find solutions. Use relaxation, whether it's a massage, heating pad, essential oils. Do things that will help your body feel better during that time. Like I said, each woman has her own sensitivity to estrogen. Some women feel it right away, others it takes time. Your hormone sensitivity could be due to genetics, it could be due to lifestyle habits, how good your diet is, how well you sleep, and medications you're taking or health conditions that you have. Could be a combination of all of these. So your brain, during this phase of your cycle, concentration, creativity, decision-making, memory, and mental speed, and verbal fluency, they are at the low ends of their spectrum. It may feel like your brain needs a push in the right direction to get it moving. Low estrogen will do that. However, just because your brain needs a little bit of a push, it doesn't mean you're not intelligent during this time. You can absolutely do everything that you would usually do. You might just have to work a couple times harder to get the same result as when you're in a different phase of your cycle, and you can just crank out the results just like that. So you might need to push yourself to get going, push your brain to be productive, but just keep that in mind. As far as energy, here again, we are low. We are low energy on the first day of our cycle, but as it climbs, we start to feel more energized, and we start to get that energy, that motivation for new projects, new tasks, and coming up in the next few days of our cycle are the most productive days of our entire month. So get excited for that. Sleeping, premenstrual sleep can be the lousiest sleep time of the month for us because of estrogen that is very, very low. It can be hard to get sleep, and therefore that sleep deprivation can carry into the first week of our menstruation. So just keep that in mind. Also, if our bodies do have low iron, this also will affect our sleep and make it harder for our body to get great levels of sleep. So if you have heavy menstrual bleeding, you are losing a lot more iron. So just keep that in mind and potentially supplement. Money. During this time of our cycle, we may get the urge to splurge on those fun items such as a book, movie, app, or snack to distract ourselves from the pain. So keep that in mind. If you're feeling a bit low, you may have those tendencies to splurge. Friends and family, this is the time of the month where we are staying in. We do not want to be with friends and family typically, or if we do, it's like the most intimate, close. So if you're married and you have kids, like it's just those people, or maybe just your spouse. Typically, we don't want other people in our space during this day because we're dealing with maybe low energy, low brain function, maybe cramps, maybe other things, and you simply don't have the patience and energy to be adjusting to all these other things. So typically, women prefer to stay in during this time. Romance, if you're single, you're not interested in potentially starting a relationship or going out, socializing, networking, making those connections. It's just not in the books for you today. Typically, you don't feel like it. And that changes very soon after estrogen starts to climb. If you're in a relationship, this is a day where you're typically more irritated by your mate's mistakes and you can be a little bit more edgy. However, take the time to have that conversation with your partner and just explain to them. Don't expect them to know. Teach them, hey, this time of the month, I typically experience, symptoms or low energy, or I feel sleep deprived, or, just share those things with them, be open about it, and just ask them for grace and ask them to, be there to support you. And it can typically be a very rough time of the month. So just ask for that support, communicate it, and things will go much more smoothly. Romance, typically there is a rise in libido prior to your period. And this is due to all the menstrual action going on. You typically there's more blood flow, there's more sensitivity down there. So if you're married, this is a great time to connect with your spouse. Career and projects. This is the time where you could be lacking motivation to tackle those projects because your low estrogen and iron loss are just leaving you feeling fatigued and tired. Or, if you're feeling good that first day of your cycle, you might be excited to start a new project or do something like that. You're likely on the quiet side today. You may prefer to tackle a task by yourself at your own pace and just take things slow. As far as food goes, during the first half of your cycle, from the first day until you ovulate, this is a time when rising estrogen has a slight appetite suppressing effect, making you a little less hungry. So fun fact. Typically, PMS week, the week before a period, we're binging on food, and sometimes those binges can leave us craving those things the next week. So if you want help in kind of reducing those cravings, try to use other things to help comfort yourself during that time other than food, to kind of stay out of the whole sugar craving cycle. As far as sleep is, as estrogen climbs, it triggers a rise in sleep regulating serotonin in the brain, which helps you fall asleep faster and stay asleep. So as your estrogen rises over the next few days and weeks, you would definitely start to sleep better again. Exercise and sports. From today, day 1 of your period, through week 1 and 2, your muscles build more quickly and easily because of estrogen, and they repair better. So this speeds up repair and creation of muscle tissue. So if you are used to working out, keep working out during that first time of your cycle, first week of your cycle, keep working out. If you don't work out and you are just starting a workout plan that first week of your cycle, it could make it harder or worse if you have low estrogen, low iron, and then you're throwing your body into like an intensive workout. So just keep that in mind. Maybe start off slow. You can still work out, but just keep that in mind. Fun fact, you are more sensitive to pain during the first few weeks of your week 1 due to low estrogen. If you face a potentially painful experience, such as a minor surgery or a dental visit, try to schedule it for your week 2 when the pain sensitivity is lower, or take extra pain curbing precautions. So if you go through a painful experience during this week 1, you will tend to experience more pain, say if it's a surgery or dental, than if you plan it for your week 2. Very interesting. If you have a surgery scheduled, anything like that, try to schedule that for week 2. You are at higher risk for a migraine due to fluctuations in estrogen that can cause changes in the brain that trigger them. So we can actually get hormonal headaches if you don't get headaches frequently, but you notice yourself like getting a headache and it's really bad. It could be due to this fluctuating estrogen in the brain. Day 1 of your cycle, your breasts tend to become less tender thanks to the decrease in water retention and inflammation now that your body's levels of progesterone have dropped. You are more likely to experience loose stools or diarrhea, which may be a result of prostaglandins pushing contents out of your digestive tract. You tend to urinate more frequently as extra fluid progesterone caused you to retain during most of the second half of your cycle, and that is now released. So during the second half of your cycle, your body's holding on to water. You often feel more bloated and just like fluffy. And then once your period hits, you start to lose that water retention, lose that, extra fluff. It is finally released, which feels so good. We are not the same size every week of the month. We are different sizes because of how our body holds on to water. You may have a higher risk for a flare-up of a chronic condition such as asthma, irritable bowel syndrome due to low estrogen. If you notice a chronic health issue worsens at certain times in your cycle, talk with your healthcare provider. Interesting fact that due to our hormone fluctuations, that's when stuff can flare up. We should be brushing and flossing our teeth more thoroughly today. During menstruation, our mouth has a higher concentration of sulfur compounds, which is the stinky stuff produced by microorganisms that give you bad breath. The problem is that low estrogen on these days can reduce your mouth's production of saliva, which means it's less effective at naturally washing away these foul-smelling substances. Super interesting. Our skin. During our period, our skin can be more sensitive to skincare products, perfumes, shampoos, all of that stuff. That's also an effect of low estrogen. Estrogen improves the moisture content in our skin and speeds wound healing by prompting higher collagen production. So when we have low estrogen, we also have less protection of our skin. So a few cycle prevention tips, PMS prevention. A few supplements that have been shown to reduce PMS symptoms is 12,000 milligrams of calcium daily, 700 IU of vitamin D daily, 1,000 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids containing DHEA and EPA daily, and iron 15 milligrams for women ages 14 to 18 and 18 milligrams for women ages 19 to 50. So really great. If you do struggle with PMS, maybe try some of those. I'm happy to give you recommendations. Just comment below if you want those. And today, cycle syncing tips are the beginning of your cycle can feel like January 1st every month. We have this new freshness to life and we feel alive again. And we may get the urge to tackle these new resolutions, these new projects, tasks. We finally feel ourselves again. We feel like our energy is back and we jump right in. Get ready for week 2, guys. Week 2 of your cycle is incredible. My favorite week of every month of my cycle. And your estrogen is super high. It gives you confidence, brain sharpness, energy, optimism, eloquence to do something that's a real game changer. So this time of our cycle is when we want to schedule the biggest task, the most time-consuming, brainy task, because we have the energy for it, and if we schedule it this week of our cycle, we can very easily crush it. So a fun fact, your voice is actually deeper during the week 1 of your cycle. And researchers chalk it up to high fluid content in your throat membranes due to water retention. As your week 1 goes on, rising estrogen prompts your body to shed this excess fluid and your voice becomes clearer and higher. And women actually have their highest voice during during ovulation. They have their highest pitched voice, which is thought to be like the most attractive. And yeah, your voice gets higher. So even your voice changes throughout the month, and it's so interesting. So that is day 1 of your cycle. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or what stood out to you. What did you learn in this video? I'd love to know. Also, if you give it a big thumbs up, that would mean the world to me. So thanks for doing that. And I can't wait to talk to you guys about day 2. We'll see you next time. Bye.